me Chiku from Chiku Study Corner, and today I'll be dealing with the second part of solutions. Solutions is the chapter 2 of our textbook, that is the chapter 2 of Chemistry Class 12 CBSE. So let's get into the chapter. If you haven't watched the previous part, that's our part 1, make sure you watch it and then continue watching. So I'll give you a small recap or small, just a gist to remember what all I told you in the previous session. In the previous session, we discussed about some terms. What were the terms? Boundary, phase boundary, phase, state, etc. We discussed about the classifications of solids, of mixtures and as well as of solutions. And we learned different types of solutions also. So now let's learn about a new term, that is solvation. So what is solvation? Solvation is the process by which the solvent attracts the solute. So what is this? The solvent particles attract the solute particles. Okay? So that is solvation. There's always a misconception about solvation, because everyone thinks that solvation means the maximum amount of substance that can be dissolved. But that is a misconception. The solvation, the actual definition, is the process by which a solvent particle attracts the solute particle. Okay? So now let's say an example. A common example, NaCl and water. So NaCl is salt in water. So what happens? So over here, how do you define solvation? That is splitting of NaCl with the help of H2O. Okay? So let's see. NaCl is, I'll write water. How does water look like? Hydrogen and 2 oxygen plus NaCl. What would happen? How will this NaCl, let's remove this, let this be here. NaCl will split into Na plus and Cl minus. So Na plus and Cl minus. Okay? I just drew 2 atoms and this is the structure of water. So I told you that when water and salt is added together, what happens? There is solvation. So water, let's draw H2O and NaCl. Let's draw NaCl like this. For example, what would happen to this? That is, water molecules will surround these and this NaCl will split. Okay, this is just a rough diagram. I'll show you the fair diagram now. Yeah, this will surround. The same way the other molecule will also be surrounded by water. Okay. So now, for over here, what did we use? This is H2O. No? So in the case of solvation, when solvation happens, if the solvent is hydrogen, it's called as hydration. Okay? So what is hydration? When the solvent is water and then solvation happens, the process is called as hydration. Okay? So for the splitting up of these particles, water should exert some energy. That energy is called as hydration energy. Okay, so that's hydration energy, and the force between these NaCl molecules is called as lattice energy. Okay, so let me make some space. So what is hydration energy? Hydration energy is the energy supplied by the water to pull the NaCl molecules away. But what is lattice energy in the case of this case I'm talking? Okay? In this case, what is lattice energy? The energy between NaCl particles. So if hydration energy is greater than lattice energy, what would happen? There would be solvation. Okay? There would be solvation. If the lattice energy is greater than the hydration energy, what would happen? There won't be solvation. The solvation will not take place. Okay, so that is to talk about what's hydration and lattice energies. Okay, so the next term that we have to learn is solubility. Okay, let's see what solubility is. So we learned what is solvation. So next is solubility. So what is solubility? The maximum, okay? The maximum amount of solute which can be dissolved in the solvent at a particular temperature. So what is solubility? The maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a solvent in a given temperature. Okay? So now let's see what are the factors that affect solubility. So let's write each of the factors. So the first factor is physical properties. Okay? We just are mentioning what all are they. Physical properties. The second one is chemical properties. The third one is nature of solvent. The fourth one is temperature. The fifth one is pressure. And the sixth one is pH. Okay? These are the factors that affect solubility. So what are the factors? The first one is physical properties. Second one is chemical properties. The third one is, what is that? Nature of the solvent. Okay? The fourth one is temperature. The fifth one is pressure. The sixth one is pH. Okay? So physical property, chemical properties, nature of the solvent, temperature, pressure and pH. These are the 6 factors that affect solubility. So rate of solution. Rate of solution. Many people equate rate of solution to solubility. But to tell you, rate of solution is not solubility. What is rate of solution? Rate of solution is the how fast or the speed in which the solute dissolves in the solvent. Okay? So I told you what. I'll rub the properties and I'll write it. Rate of solution is not equal to solubility. I told you many people think solvation is the amount or the maximum capacity to dissolve, and also solubility is also having a misconception, that is the ability to dissolve is called as solubility. That is a misconception also. So now let's learn about a term called as insolubility. We learned solubility. What is solubility? Solubility is the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a solvent in a given temperature. So what is insolubility? I'll tell you the condition, or how do you say a substance is insoluble. When 0.1, okay, it can be less, not 0.1, when less than 0.1 gram, okay, less than 0.1 gram of solute is only soluble in 100 ml of solvent. Okay, that is what is, this is insolubility. Okay, so now let's see the factors affecting what solubility of a solid in liquid. Okay, so let's see. So what is it? The first factor, okay, I'll write factor, that is solid in liquid. Okay, the first one is nature of solute and solvent. What do you mean by the nature of solute and solvent? We always have heard like dissolves like, unlike dissolves unlike, or like dissolves like. What do you mean by that? What is like when when two polar solutions, or one, I'll tell you. The solute and solvent. We are taking solute and solvent, and I'm dividing it into two. That is, over here one is polar, the other one is non-polar. Over here also it's polar, this is non-polar. So what would happen? Over here, this polar solute will be dissolved in the polar solvent, and the non-polar solute would be dissolved in the non-polar solvent. So what is happening over here? That is like dissolves like. Okay. So that is the first point that we have to discuss. So we'll take the example of salt and water itself. And then salt and water is for polar solvent and polar solute. So CCl4, we have learned, carbon tetrachloride and benzene together forms the example for non-polar solutions. Okay, so let's write the examples. I just mentioned the examples. So now over here, what is it? Over here, lattice energy is lesser than what? Hydration energy. That means hydration energy is more. Implies the solvation will occur. Okay? So the second factor is what? The effect of temperature. So let's write. So over here we have to learn about three cases. So the first case is what? As temperature increases, what would happen? Solubility increases. Okay? The second case is when temperature increases, solubility decreases. And the third case is as temperature increases, solubility neither increase or decrease. Okay? So these are the three cases. So first let's discuss about the first case. This case is always common. It's very common in ionic compounds. Okay? Example of an ionic compound? NaCl. So now let's take the example of H2O or NaCl. No, let's make it gentler. Solute plus solvent plus heat would give you the solution. Okay? Over here, what did I say? As temperature increases, solubility increases. So the temperature is in this side, and what would happen? The reaction would proceed in the forward direction. In this direction, the reaction would proceed because temperature is over here. Next case, the second case. Okay. So what do you say? Okay, I forgot to mention. What is this? When heat is being used up, it is called as what? Endothermic. Okay, so this is an endothermic reaction. So now let's see the second case. That is when temperature, I'll write. When temperature decreases, or let's make it. When temperature increases, what is happening? Solubility will decrease. That is when solute plus solvent gives solution plus heat. So what is this? When temperature increases, when heat is over here, what is happening? The reverse reaction. Okay? The reverse reaction is what you say is favored. So what happens here? So the solubility is not being is being decreased because it forms a solution. Due to the heat, it is being traced back. Okay, so it is going like this. So this is called as an exothermic reaction. Okay, so now we'll see about the third case. Now we discuss about the third case. The third case is that when temperature increases, what happens? There is no continuous increase or decrease. Okay. Okay. So that is over here. The examples are polymorphic to another form. That is from beta to alpha or alpha to beta. Polymorphic form to another. I'll show you the examples. Okay, wait. And from a hydrated to another form. So, for example, you can take dot 10 H2O for a hydrated solution. That can be converted to 6 H2O. That over there also what happens is there is no continuous increase or decrease in temperature. And over here from hydrated form to anhydrous form. Okay, I'll show you the examples. So the examples would look like this.
Compounds which convert from one polymorphic form to another, NH4OH. One hydrated form to another, CaCl2.6H2O, CaCl2.4H2O which converts to CaCl2.2H2O. Hydrated form to an anhydrous form, Na2SO4.10H2O to Na2SO4.
So friends, that's all for today's video. I hope you might have understood it. If you've understood it, please do give my video a huge thumbs up. And also subscribe to my channel if you're new to it. And share my video with your other friends. So see you on my next video. Till then, bye bye.